Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all Indiana students, sponsored by the Indiana Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at INACAC.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, INACAC.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Perfect, thank you so much. So hi everyone, thanks for attending, and thanks for those of you that are watching this later on via the website. My name is AJ Frigo. I'm a Senior Assistant Director for Indiana Relations. I work in the Office of Admissions at Purdue University. With me, who's going to be monitoring the Q&A, is Andrea Lutz at Purdue University, an Assistant Director of Admissions. So we're so thankful that you're here and listening to Purdue University speak. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to give a presentation about Purdue. Essentially, this will be right around 30 minutes of presentation time. Sometimes I'm a little long-winded. So feel free at any point in time to type your questions in the Q&A chat in the feature, and then we will get to those questions for the last 15 minutes. So anything I'm saying throughout this process, feel free to write down a question at any point in time, and we will answer them throughout the presentation or definitely at the end of the presentation. So type those in Q&A and we will get things started. So you should be able to see my screen now. This is an overshot of Purdue University, a beautiful campus, and we're very happy with what it looks like overall. In case you're not super familiar, our benefactor, John Purdue, he decided that all buildings at Purdue University would be made in red brick. So if you haven't been to our campus, there's a lot of red brick. And if you don't like monotony, this may not be the perfect place for you, but I think we have a lot of great things to offer for you. So this is just that overview of Purdue University. Super fun fact with this, one of our alumni, is the director of entertainment for Pixar, and he actually helped create, model, and design Monsters University, and he actually used a bunch of Purdue University for Monsters University's initiative. So if you've ever watched that film, you'll notice something pretty cool there. So we're going to start things off with a lot about Purdue University, but towards the end of this presentation, we're going to talk about the application process in general. So in case you're not super familiar with where we're located, we are in West Lafayette, Indiana. West Lafayette and Lafayette, Indiana are right next to each other, just next to the Wabash River. We're about an hour from Indianapolis and 2 hours from Chicago. So generally kind of right in the sweet spot. We're right off I-65, the main highway in Indiana. We are a college town through and through. There's about 100,000 people total that live in West Lafayette and Lafayette, Indiana, and about 44,000 students on our campus. So almost 1 out of every 3 people you see in the city area of West Lafayette and Lafayette, Indiana are going to be a student at Purdue University. So we are a large campus. We cannot deny that, but we will talk more about classroom sizes and stuff on the next slide. Just know that we are large enough to have all the amenities of a big city without necessarily being a big city. So, we have festivals, we have events, art galleries, we have, ice skating, we're just big enough to have a zoo, farmers markets, all those things. So with all that being said, we are a city for sure. Coming from a rural Indiana like I did, Purdue seemed like a very large place. But once you've visited a few large cities, Purdue's kind of the best of both worlds. It's just big enough to be considered a city. It's just small enough to know all your neighbors. And so at Purdue University, we're actually the 12th safest campus in the United States. So we're very proud of that. We are the safest campus in the Big Ten. So a little bit on our numbers, Purdue profile, this was from 2019 enrollment, 44,000 students on our campus, 33,000 undergraduate students. So with all that being said, you're probably thinking, Purdue is extremely large. And with that being said, we are a medium to large size campus overall, but our average class size is still only 31 students. So when you're comparing us to your average English class, how many students are sitting in your English class or math class with you? At Purdue University, the average class size is 31 students. 52% Indiana residents. We are an Indiana land-grant institution, so our primary function is to serve Indiana residents. 34% of our students are from other U.S. states, and then 14% from other countries. So we actually have students from all 50 states and over 130 different countries on our campus represented. So students from absolutely everywhere are coming and applying to Purdue University. All right, so with that being said, there are a lot of really cool highlights with campus, and I want to let you know that this presentation is not all encompassing. We only have 30 minutes to give you enough time for a question and answer for 15 minutes at the end. So there is so much more to Purdue University that we'd love to share with you, but these are just the quick highlights of Purdue's campus, but definitely not an all-inclusive presentation considering all the things that are available at Purdue. Opportunity Knocks at Purdue University, we specialize in our internship opportunities and our co-op opportunities where students can be making money and getting real world job experience. A perfect example of that on the far left, that's SJ. He's in our Polytechnic Institute at Purdue University. He actually was able to invent smart Tupperware. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but at Purdue University, your options are literally unlimited, where you can participate, invent, grow, facilitate, improve any object. And SJ decided that Tupperware needed to be made better. So smart Tupperware is what he invented, and now it's going to be able to monitor the length of your food. It'll give you instructions on cooking, how long it should go in the microwave. A really cool way to innovate something as simple as Tupperware. Right next to him is Zach, and he's actually our first roller coaster engineer here at Purdue University. We're known as an engineering school. It's about 28% of our campus overall. We have 17 engineering disciplines, 90 subdisciplines, and you can create your own discipline of engineering. And Zach actually decided that roller coaster engineering was for him. His sophomore year, he was full-time employed by Walt Disney World on their lead design team. So that's some of the opportunities that you'll have. Skipping over to the far right just for time, this is Dr. Gabise Ajeta. He's one of our 3 World Food Prize laureates. That is the Nobel Prize for Agriculture. No other school in the country has more than one. Purdue University has 3 Nobel Prize laureates for food. So absolutely incredible. He was actually able to genetically modify a wheat called sorghum. And as a result, he saved millions of lives, not just in his home country of Ethiopia, but all over the globe. So there are opportunities all over at Purdue University. What those look like generally, right off the bat, we have the Center for Career Opportunities. The Center for Career Opportunities is kind of Purdue's bread and butter. The CCO is ranked 3rd best in the entire country out of all 5,000 colleges in the United States at getting students jobs after they graduate. So internship opportunities, getting you into pre-med, pre-law, pre-vet, pre-occupational therapy, pre-chiropractic, whatever it may be, Purdue University specializes in getting you those opportunities. So our Center for Career Opportunities is exactly that. We're gonna give you opportunities. They have things as simple as a career closet. So if you don't have a suit or a dress, we will size you, measure you, and give you a free suit or dress to make sure you're looking good for your interviews. What they do primarily is obviously going to be internships and co-ops. We are the top rated co-op and internship program in the United States. Our average co-op student makes $3,000 to $4,000 a month with unlimited opportunities for our Purdue students. On top of all of that, we're going to bring over 1,800 different companies to our campus in any given year. So at Purdue University, you are 360% more likely, 360% more likely to get an on-campus interview at Purdue University than you are the average institution in the United States. So that means not only are we bringing the best companies in the world to our campus to recruit you, but they're going to be directly on your campus, right when you leave your classes, right when you leave your residence halls, these companies will be here. In the first 3 weeks of campus that you're here as a freshman, you will see Apple, Boeing, Caterpillar, Google, Pixar, IBM, Rolls-Royce, Walt Disney, and about 790 other companies, all within the first 3 weeks at our Industrial Roundtable Fair, and an overall 1,800 different companies. This is kind of what Purdue specializes in, and this is what we're known for. We do have an academic success center, so any student who needs additional time, accommodations, help, anything like that, we have it. So if you need supplemental instruction, more resources with your professors, office hours, tutoring, the list goes on, it's all free for our students. We do have a health center on our campus for all students as well. And then finally, the Disability Resource Center is for any student if you have an IEP or a 504 plan, or you need accommodations. Maybe it's something as simple as you have difficulties paying attention, or maybe it's something as complicated as dyslexia. We're going to have an entire center devoted to helping you get resources to be successful in college. On top of that, as you'll see from the picture, if you break your leg playing Ultimate Frisbee, we will push you to class. So just know that Purdue has all the resources and amenities of a large institution. All right. So next, these are our residence halls. So some really quick fun information with this. At Purdue University, we actually have 17 residence halls to choose from, but freshmen are never required to live on our campus. However, 95% of our freshmen do choose to live on campus that very first year. 14,000 plus students can fit in our residence halls, and we have about 44,000 students, as we said. So with all that being said, you'll notice about 65% of our students tend to live off campus, and you can absolutely do that all 4 years. It is your choice, on or off campus, all 4 years. It is guaranteed if you sign your housing contract on time. We have a wide array of residence halls and what's available to students, and we have a bunch of great ways to help you select a roommate as well. So you can obviously pick someone applying to the same high school as you, someone that you know, but another really cool feature that we offer is like an eharmony.com meet your soulmate roommate. Sounds a little bit corny, but you can absolutely log into this and you can create a profile. I go to bed before 10. I don't like country music, but I love tacos and I like to study during the day. We will match you with someone that has the exact same preferences and priorities, just in case you don't know people applying to Purdue. If that's not the case and you'd rather live with people studying and working on the same things as you, we have learning communities, and we have over 90 learning communities where you essentially live with 20 to 30 other students, either in the same major or with the same passion area. And you will live together, you'll walk to classes together. So it's a great way to be surrounded by like-minded individuals in similar majors or areas of interest. I want to keep letting you know, if I know I'm going fast, but we only have 30 minutes to present. So if you have any additional clarifying questions or you have more questions in general, type those into the Q&A so we can get those answered at the end, okay? So speaking of communities, that's kind of the topic we were on. With communities, we do have 5 cultural centers on our campus. So this is super important for all students, and not only because it's great for you for personal growth, but we have multiple companies coming to our campus and telling us, hey, what we want to see out of our students graduating from Purdue University is we want our students to have multicultural competency. They need to understand what diversity looks like, understand the social issues in the world today. And so as a result, these cultural centers are here, and they're such great learning tools for all students. So without further ado, we have the Asian and Asian American Cultural Center, the LGBTQ Center, Native American Cultural Center, Black Cultural Center, and the Latino Cultural Center. All free resources for students, and there are so many things you can do just to immerse yourself either in your own culture or other cultures to become more diverse and multiculturally aware. And so these are just really big proponents of that and things that our employers on our campus want students to have. With all that being said, if you're looking for things to do at Purdue University, we absolutely have them. We have nearly 1,000 student organizations. The most recent website search that I've seen is 998. So there are literally 998 clubs that you can join and participate in at Purdue University. The All-American Marching Band on the top left is one of the fan favorites. You know, students get to travel to all home and away football games. They get great marching band experience. It's a little family built in itself. And there's also great scholarship opportunities for that. On the bottom left, that's a club called the Pet a Puppy Club. There's literally a club where all you have to do is pet puppies. So if you in any way like puppies and you want to meet other students who also like to pet puppies, boom, you just found students to hang out with. It's that simple. In the middle there on the bottom, 20% of our campus, about 22% are involved in Greek life. So fraternities, sororities, cooperative houses, if that's something you're interested in, we definitely have it. And then on the far right, that's called our Reamer Club. Our Reamer Club is the official mascot. They take care of it, and it's the Boilermaker Special. The Boilermaker Special is a 65-foot train on wheels, and it's completely street legal with an actual train horn in it. So if your goal for college is you want to drive a street legal train, we have a club for you. They take this train to all home and away football games. So when we were in the Rose Bowl in 2001, thanks to Drew Brees, students drove that thing all the way to Pasadena, California and back. So if that's the club you want to get involved in, that's the club we have for you. So with 1,000 student organizations, the sky is really the limit for what clubs you want to get involved with. Okay. So ways to learn more. I know there's so much more information we'd love to talk with you about. The last thing I'll touch on with Purdue University is our club and intramural sports. We have 60 club and intramural sports for you to participate in, literally 60, anything from inner tube water polo to dressage to rock, paper, scissors to basketball, softball, volleyball, the list goes on. So we have 60 club sports and intramural sports for you to get involved with. And also, we are a Division I school in the Big Ten. So a really big selling point there is $99 a year and you get tickets to every single home event as a Purdue student, and we have 18 teams in the Big Ten. Moving on, there are definitely ways to learn more. Again, I know this is a quick presentation, so keep asking your Q&A if you have them. But we are offering virtual tours for essentially any major at Purdue University. You can get some inside information through any of our 11 colleges and schools at Purdue University. We also have a YouTube video specific to where a student walks around our entire campus, so you can still get that virtual opportunity there. And then we also have admissions presentations, admissions hours, where you can meet one-on-one in a Zoom session if your family wants to join. So just honestly, if you Google Visit Purdue, you're going to find all that information there, but you can also find it on our website. We do have international sessions as well. So any students who are international and want to know more about what the differences may be in that admissions process, we're offering those as well, all on the same web page. We have just started offering on-campus tours. So they just started this Monday, and students can participate in these on-campus tours by registering on our website. They are socially distanced and they are all outdoors, but we are having them available for students that want to see our campus with a student tour guide. Okay, so I know that was a lot. Keep putting your questions in the Q&A. I want to address all your concerns. These next slides, and basically till the end of the presentation, we're going to go over the application process, what it takes to apply, what we're evaluating you on, what we're looking for, what does it take to get in. So that's the brick and mortar. This is the brick and mortar of the application process with Purdue University. So right off the bat, you're going to apply with the Common App. We are Common App exclusive. There's no homegrown application. We're not using the Coalition application. You are a Common App only school at Purdue University. So if you want to apply to Purdue, just be thinking Common Application. That should be a big win for you because a lot of your other schools you're probably interested in are also on the Common App. So when you're on the Common Application, after you submit your general profile, you're then going to select Purdue University as the school you want to apply to. When you do that, it's going to auto-populate number 2 Purdue questions. It's going to ask you why this major and why Purdue University. It's going to ask you those two. Short answer, 150 words or less, but vital for your application. We love to read, why do you want to come to Purdue? Why do you want to study this major? Those are super important for us. Next, number 3, self-reported grades and test scores. Built into the Common App, you actually can self-report every single course you've taken and the grades you got as well. So you do not need to send us a transcript if you do not want to. You can self-report them all in the application. You self-report your grades, and you can also self-report your test scores. So at Purdue, we are currently test flexible, which means if you have a test score, we would like to see it. If you don't have a test score, or you are unable to take it, or you don't think that your test score is representative of your academic success, then you don't have to send us that test score. If you do want to send us that test score, though, you don't have to spend the money to do it. You can actually self-report it on your Common Application. If you're planning on taking a test later on, you can also indicate that in the Common App section. Hey, I'm planning on taking it in late October of 2020. And then we'll understand if it gets canceled. We absolutely understand what's going on with the context of COVID. So self-report your grades, self-report your test scores if you have them. And then the essay is built into the Common Application with 6 different prompts, and then the application fee, or we have multiple fee waivers. So if you qualify for a fee waiver, please submit that, and we will absolutely waive your application fee. So 1 through 5, and you have completed your application to Purdue University. It's pretty much that simple. If there's any questions about those 5 things, type those into Q&A now. So at Purdue, we have 11 academic colleges and schools, all housed under the same campus, and we have 200 plus majors. It's actually currently at 230 different majors to choose from. So when you apply, you actually choose 2 on your application if you want. You have a first choice and a second choice major. So this is a little bit overwhelming, right? There's a lot of choices for you, not so many areas you can go into, and multiple ways to get to the same profession in some scenarios. So it's going to be tough to go over every single major, but if you have a specific major you'd like for me to talk about, you can always type that into Q&A. If we have time at the end, I will definitely talk about majors after the other questions are answered. But all of our majors are housed in these 11 colleges and schools. A great example of this, you also may not understand what you have available to you. At Purdue, we're the 9th best public school in the United States. We have 230 majors with the top-rated internship program in the country. We're 3rd best in the country at getting students jobs as they graduate. No matter what major you select, we still have those same statistics. So whether you want to go into pharmacy, which we're one of the best pharmacy programs in the entire country, and apply to the College of Pharmacy, or maybe you're interested in human services, maybe you really are interested in helping people in social work, the College of Health and Human Sciences may be the route for you. Another great example, we have a program called Turf Management and Science. And I don't know if you know this, but you can literally, for the rest of your life, work on turf. In case we're not familiar with that, the Turf Management and Science program is one of the top rated programs in the country for years, I think 10 years in a row now. Our College of Agriculture is the 12th best ag school in the entire world. So if you're a turf management and science major, the average starting salary for that is $55,000 a year, 100% job placement rating 10 years in a row. So everyone that's went into that major has gotten a job in turf management and science. Our most recent graduate actually runs Lambeau Field for the Green Bay Packers. So I don't know if you knew this or not, but you can literally get a 4-year degree and have a successful career in turf. And that's just one example of our 230 majors at Purdue University. So you really don't know what's available to you. So reach out, call your admissions office, call us, and we'd love to talk to you about our majors and what's available to you. All of our programs are direct admission, like I said. So if you apply to a program, you get into a program. The one thing I'd like to talk about more specifically in this specific set of colleges and schools is exploratory studies. 1,000 of our 8,000 freshmen generally start in exploratory studies, and exploratory studies is our undecided program. It's for students who really don't know. Either you're good at a lot of things, I can see myself doing all these things, or I'm really debating between two things. I either want to go into mechanical engineering technology, or I want to be a teacher. If that's the case, you should definitely apply to exploratory studies. Exploratory studies is going to give you access to all 230 of our majors at Purdue and give you opportunities to switch into them later. The national statistic now, I think 65% of college students change their major at least once. Exploratory studies is going to help you change your major into the right program. So if you're really not sure, exploratory is a great route. If you are sure, we'd love to talk to you about individual programs at Purdue. All right, so these are the application evaluation processes. When we're looking at applicants, our number one concern is, are you going to be successful in your intended program? That's what we're looking for mainly. Are you going to be successful in what you've applied to? And how can you show us you'll be successful? Your high school transcripts, letters of recommendation, your entire application, the essay, it all builds in. So these next 12 things, and we determine yes or no. So right off the bat, the first thing you have to have when you're applying to Purdue is minimum high school coursework. And again, this is all on our website. If you just Google freshman admissions criteria Purdue, you will find it. Minimum high school coursework, you need 4 years of math, 4 years of English, 3 years of lab science, which is like chemistry, biology, environmental science, 3 years of social science, which is your history classes, your psychology classes, and then you need 2 years of foreign language. Those are your minimums that you have to meet. The next thing we're going to look for when we're evaluating you is going to be grades. What are your grades? Do you have good grades? A's and B's are good grades, so we want to see A's and B's. Next, though, did you challenge yourself? Strength of curriculum. If they were offered to you, if they were available at your school, did you have access to AP, IB, dual credit, honors, O-level, Cambridge, CLEP, and the list goes on? If you had access to them, did you take them? Did you challenge yourself? If you didn't have access to those, we are not going to punish students who didn't have access to those. But did you have access and did you challenge yourself? We want to see that you're pushing yourself, getting ready for a rigorous academic career at Purdue University. So the most important thing you can do, get good grades. The next most important thing you can do is take tough courses and get good grades in those tough courses. That's super important that you do that. All right, relevant coursework, that's the next most important topic. So, if you're applying to a STEM-based program, you should have strong STEM grades. If you're applying to English, which we're the 3rd best school in the country for English majors, you should have good English grades, and so on and so forth. Academic trends, if you're starting off rocky your freshman year, we want to see that your grades are getting better the closer you get to college. Now, we do understand that your junior year, likely if you're a senior, was during COVID. So we are going to take the context of COVID into this scenario as well. So if your academic trends look a little bit different junior year, just know that we absolutely empathize with you. We all went through this process together, so we completely understand that those trends may look a little bit different, but we encourage you to tell us about that on your application. ACT, SAT scores, as I had said before, Purdue University is test flexible, so you do not have to send us a test score if you don't have one. So just know that we are not requiring test scores at this point, and you can self-report them. If you are planning on taking one, we do like to see them because it is one additional piece of the application process that we can use to your advantage. So if you have one, that's great. If not, that's fine too. There will be no negative repercussions from not sending an ACT or SAT score. All right, these next 6 things, and we determine yes or no. Extracurricular activities, clubs, organizations, events, volunteerism, sports, the list goes on. Family duties, jobs, responsibilities, those are all extracurricular. Anything you're doing that's not you sitting at home studying needs to be on the application. You need to tell us everything you've been a part of. Chess club is not better than robotics. Robotics is not better than football. Football is not better than volleyball. They are all things you're passionate about and things that you're interested in, things that you can show grit and leadership in. So be very descriptive, be very thorough in telling us everything you've been involved in on your application, because we want to know, we need to know what it is. And that includes, I have to come home and take care of my siblings after school because my parents work. We should know that. We need to have a glimpse into what it's like to be you. The essay, that can also help us figure out who you are. The essay can absolutely do that. So write the essay prompt, tell us who you are, what's going on. There's 6 different prompts to choose from in the Common App. Purdue major in college, this can affect your decision. Some programs are more competitive than others, and we would love to talk with you on a one-to-one basis about what programs may be more or less competitive for your specific scenario. It's very hard to generally say what is and isn't competitive without seeing your whole entire application. But with Purdue University, our most competitive programs in order are computer science and the College of Science, and then flight in our Polytechnic Institute, then nursing and health and human sciences, and then finally our first year engineering program. So all of our engineers interested in engineering at Purdue University have to start in the major first year engineering. And that's probably our 4th most competitive program at Purdue. Next, recommendations, not required, but strongly encouraged. And then the time of year you apply, we will talk about, and then personal background and experience. So built into the application this year, it's going to ask you about a community disruption. Did COVID impact you? The answer is yes. The COVID impacted everyone. So really explain to us what happened, whether or not you missed out on classes. Maybe you had to go full virtual. Maybe your school went full pass fail. Maybe you didn't get to go to prom. Maybe you didn't get to see your sports or get to participate in sports, or your club got canceled, or your study abroad got canceled. Tell us, let us know how that impacted you. And even prior to COVID, which seems like years and years and years ago, stuff was still going on in your life. So if there was a divorce in your family, or a death, or you were sick and you had to miss school, or I got these C's freshman year because blank, really let us know. Let your admissions counselor know in the application, so that way we can fully understand where you're coming from. All right, so this may look a little bit confusing as a slide, but right off the bat, just know August 1st, the application went live. October 1st, the FAFSA went live, and that's your federal application for student aid that your parents can help you out with. November 1st is our early action deadline. Early action is non-binding. It just means if you apply by November 1st, you will get your decision on January 15th at 5:00 p.m. So you absolutely want to apply by November 1st. That's our merit-based scholarship deadline and our honors college deadline as well. Merit scholarships, all you have to do is apply. It's built into the application. Honors college, there is a separate essay you need to fill out, okay? So November 1st is your big deadline. Again, this is really corny and I apologize, but apply by Halloween or things will get scary. Hopefully that'll help you remember. Apply by Halloween or things will get scary. November 1st is that hard deadline for us, so you definitely want to apply by Halloween. All right, January 15th is our regular decision deadline. So if you for some reason miss that deadline, which we hope you don't, there's a January 15th regular decision deadline. And then January 15th is our decision release as well. So for all of you that apply by November 1st, which hopefully it's everyone, you will get your decision on January 15th at 5:00 p.m. Okay, March 1, there's a FAFSA deadline. So you should do your FAFSA by March 1st, and you'll get more information about that from your school counselor or your parents. And then May 1 is a deadline to accept your offer for admission and the honors college offer. May 5th is the learning community application or the housing contract. So if you sign that by May 5th each year, you're guaranteed housing. Okay, cost of attendance, frozen tuition 9 years in a row. You will not find this at any other school in the country. That means 9 years in a row we have not moved our tuition. Most colleges in the US are moving their tuition 1%, 3%, 5%, 10% every single year. So a really good question to ask the colleges you're interested in, has your tuition moved at all? Has it increased? Is it going to increase? At Purdue University, we haven't increased in 9 years in a row. So Indiana residents pay $9,992, and that's a great cost. It's a great cost, especially with Purdue University being the 9th best public school in the United States. Room and board, $10,030 for a total estimated cost around $20,000 and some change. Non-resident, so if you live out of state, $28,794. If you're wondering why that's more than the Indiana residents, it's because Indiana residents, their taxes help pay for Purdue University. You know, we're a public land grant institution. Our primary goal is to serve Indiana residents. When non-residents do end up paying more, as well as international students. And international means you don't have US citizenship. So that's the general cost of attendance. That's an extremely affordable education from Purdue University with those costs. All right, so there's an online financial aid estimator in case you want to know what you think you may qualify for. It's on our website. There's merit scholarship deadline. You have to apply by November 1st. Supplemental scholarships, those are December 15th deadline. So after you apply, you'll get access to an application portal. And that application portal is going to then show you what you're eligible to apply for supplemental scholarships. So as soon as you hit supply, a couple more days later, wait and see they get that scholarship universe information, and then you can apply for those by December 15th. You do your FAFSA by March 1, and then you'll get your financial aid package right around March. Normally it's late February, early March. So then you'll know what it'll cost to attend Purdue University. Okay, so quick transition. We're on the last couple slides. We do have a couple orientation programs. So after you're admitted to Purdue University, we have a STAR program, Summer Transition Advising and Registration, where you get to come to campus, meet your advisor, register for your courses, get your student ID, then it starts to become really real. And then finally, the week before classes start, we have Boiler Gold Rush, or the best week ever, where all of our freshmen get to come to campus a week early. You get to move into your actual residence hall. We're gonna teach you everything about campus. We're gonna walk you to classes, show you about the libraries, show you the best restaurants, teach you where the secret tunnels are, all that super fun stuff. So we do have orientation programs for our students. And this is just Purdue University. This is all 4 seasons. We have an absolutely beautiful campus. It's stunning. We would love for you to come and visit and see our campus. We have those tours where we're offering. We also have self-guided tours, so there are options for all students. So get involved virtually. Come and visit us if you can. And we would love to open it up to questions. So without further ado, we're gonna, the next slide will be essentially our contact information, how to get a hold of us for more information. But for now, what kind of questions do you have? What's interesting with you about Purdue University? Do you want to know more about a certain major, a certain topic, a certain conversation piece, more on something I touched on, and you want to learn even more about it? Clubs, organizations, events, sports. We have about 14 minutes to go over the rest of any questions that you may have. So before I go over to questions, the very next slide, keep in touch. We do have a very active social media presence. So if you want to learn even more about what a current student is going through, we have Instagram takeovers, where our Instagram story for Purdue Admissions will be, and basically all you have to search in your search bar is Purdue Admissions. We have Instagram takeovers where our current student ambassadors are showing you what it's like to be a Purdue student on a regular basis. We have Facebook to interact with other students, and so on and so forth. So we have all the social media options. Our Office of Admissions is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Our email address is simple, admissions@purdue.edu. And then there's our phone number. You can call us 8 through 5 p.m. and we'll be open Monday through Friday. So give us a call, ask those questions if you want to have a conversation. We also have virtual options to meet one-on-one, either in person or virtually. And then you can join our mailing list, so then we will email you a bunch. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we will go into the Q&A specifically. So thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much for participating as well. So now we're going to jump on to screen sharing. We're going to end that. Perfect. All right, so Q&A. All right.
Awesome. AJ, you want me to shoot you some questions to answer?
That's absolutely fine. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Fabulous. Okay, so a key question we got asked. Can you submit updated SAT scores after you apply?
Yeah, that's a great question. So absolutely. With Purdue University being test flexible this year, as I said, you do not need your test score to be a completed applicant. All you need to do is tell us what you're taking in high school, complete that Common App, the essay, things along those lines. And then there's that opportunity for you to say, I'm planning on taking an SAT or an ACT in the future, if it doesn't get canceled, whatever it may be. So as soon as you hit submit, that's great. You've applied, weight off your chest, but then at any point in time when you get a test score or your test score comes in, whether it's 4, 6, 8 weeks later, you can log back into your application portal and update your courses, grades, and test scores. So even if you haven't gotten a decision yet, but your first semester goes really well this year, you can log in and say, hey, just so you know, freshman or senior year, first semester, I've gotten all A's, here's the courses I've got, there you go. That's Purdue University in a nutshell. You can absolutely do that, or you can send it officially if you want to, but you can self-report them later. You can update the scores later. It is absolutely your choice. So good question. And the answer, short answer is yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I did have a question. What are the average GPA, SAT, and ACT scores for attending students, or where could a student find that info?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great question. So our freshman profile is available on our website. You could probably just Google freshman profile to learn more about it. With all that being said, the average GPA test score, stuff like that, we can absolutely let you know, but I will let you know also, this year is a little bit different. With COVID, with a lot of testing sites being canceled and not being around, it's really tricky, right? It's going to be really tough to know because so far what we're seeing is not every student's going to have a test score. So we're going to have to use other things in your application, like being thorough, your essay, to determine competitiveness and to see what looks great on an application. So in a normal year, let's just put it that way, non-COVID, our average admitted students will normally have right around like a 3.5 to a 4.0 GPA. So that means 25% are above and below that. Same exact thing applies with test scores. So the average student at Purdue, that's at Purdue University, will have right around like a 26 to a 31 ACT, or an 1190 to about a 1320 SAT. Again, that's the middle 50%. Excuse me. So that means 25% are above and below those averages. So that's just a range that you may want to look into. But ultimately, I'd say call your admissions office, call us, talk to us. We have admissions counselors based on your area. You can call and say, hey, I have this GPA, I have these grades. This is the test score that I currently have, but I'm really interested in blank program. What do you think? And our job as admissions counselors, we want to help you get admitted. We want to counsel you on being admitted. We are not deny counselors. So if you call us, we will help you get admitted to the program you're interested in. So what's next? What other questions do we have? Okay, so the first question I'm seeing, how does the College of Veterinary Science work? Do you apply directly to that school? Yeah, so if you're interested in being a veterinarian, there's kind of two schools of thought within that. One is going to be, do you want to be a veterinarian or do you want to be a veterinary nurse? And those are the two options. You know, do you want to be a veterinary doctor or a veterinary nurse? We have both those programs, both highly rated, super competitive at Purdue University. It depends on what area you want to go into. So if you want to apply to veterinary nursing, that's a direct admission program. You apply directly to veterinary nursing. And that's in our College of Veterinary Medicine. Now, our veterinary medicine school is primarily a DVM school or a doctorate program. So if you want to be a veterinarian, you can actually apply to any major at Purdue University and still be a veterinarian. A vast majority of our students apply to the College of Agriculture for the major animal sciences or biochemistry, but also our College of Science has great programs like biology, chemistry, biochemistry, so on and so forth. You can be any major and still be pre-vet. So after you finish your 4-year degree, then you would apply to our vet school. So you can be pre-vet under any major, but I'll say a vast majority of students will do animal science or biochemistry, biology, or chemistry. But if you're more interested in veterinary nursing, that's a direct admission program directly to veterinary nursing. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis. So hopefully that answers your question.
Awesome. And then we did have a question, do SAT scores benefit students in any way outside of just being considered for admission?
I guess I'd probably need a little bit more clarity on what you're trying to ask in this scenario. Do SAT scores benefit students in any way outside of just being considered for admission?
Maybe will it hinder anyone for scholarship purposes?
That's a great question. The answer is no. So if you don't submit one, it doesn't hinder your scholarship opportunities. It doesn't hinder your honors college opportunities. So maybe that's what you've been asking with this process. It doesn't hurt a student to not submit a test score. And does it benefit you for admissions? Yeah, it absolutely can. So we're using an SAT score the same way we would use everything. We're individual and holistic admissions. So essentially, if you don't submit a letter of recommendation, we're not going to know anybody recommended you or learn more about your character. If you submit a test score, we can see kind of how you perform on a test, and we can understand, maybe where you lie or where things look. So a recommendation, an SAT score, an essay, those are all just pieces of the puzzle for admission. So SAT scores absolutely can benefit students in this process. But if you don't have one, you're not going to be penalized for not having it.
Awesome. There is a question, are different fields of engineering more competitive than others? So maybe it'd be helpful to hear about first-year engineering.
Absolutely, yeah. So as I touched on very briefly, I know I talk fast, but at Purdue University, we have a College of Engineering, and then we have 17 engineering disciplines within that. So with that being said, all of our engineers have to start in the major first-year engineering. That first-year engineering program is going to essentially be for all students. You cannot start in mechanical engineering. You cannot start in nuclear engineering. You have to start in first year engineering. That entire first year, we're going to teach you all 17 of our engineering disciplines. And then once you know more about them, then you choose the discipline you want to pursue. And the best part about that process is you don't have to decide right as a freshman. And then on top of that, 93% of our freshmen in that first year engineering program get their first choice engineering discipline. So if you make it through first year engineering, you get into engineering, you get through first year engineering, 93% chance you're going to get your first choice engineering discipline or your different field. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Awesome. There is a question, do homeschool applications differ? Or like, how do we review homeschool apps?
Yeah, so homeschool applications are going to be very similar, right? It's that entire process. You still need to meet our minimum high school course expectations, but it really just depends on what your homeschool situation was like. And I think it's important that you disclose that context to us on your application. So telling us what was available to you, what wasn't. I've read a lot of homeschooled applications where the students were still able to participate in the local sports teams. So a homeschooled applicant still going to the local schools to play tennis or football, whatever it may be. Other homeschool students don't have access to that. It depends on how many schools are in your homeschool scenario, or if you're doing certain online curriculum, a certain homeschool process, or maybe your mom is your teacher, maybe it's your dad, maybe it's an online schooling system. So with a homeschooled applicant, it really doesn't differ much. We're just going to need to know the context of what your high school experience was like. Did you have access to tough courses? Could you take AP? Could you take dual credit? Did you take community college classes instead of taking high school ones because you were beyond the high school homeschool curriculum? So I would say no, it doesn't really differ, but it helps to get more context about your high school.
Awesome. AJ, could you share how students find specific information about programs, majors?
Yeah, so the easiest way, if you want to know more about your specific major, is just going to be literally pull up Google and type in Purdue majors. On the Purdue majors page, there's literally all 230 of our majors. You can click on each major, and then those majors specifically are going to allow you to find out even more information about it. So I can share my screen actually and just show you really quickly. So right off the bat, hopefully you can all see that. I just Googled Purdue majors. You can filter by career interest or by college and school at Purdue University. And these are all of our majors, 230 of them. So I think earlier in the chat, someone asked about forestry. So if you want to know more about forestry, click the forestry link. This is going to be able to tell you the ins and outs of the forestry program. And it's going to tell you what you can do with a forestry degree. What related careers can you do? Right here, here's your careers: graduate school, property manager, arborist, forester. And then it'll tell you what you can do in this program. There's videos about it, a current student and what they're doing, and then also the plan of study. So you can see exactly what courses students are taking in forestry to make sure that this is exactly what you want to do. And those courses all have course descriptions as well. So you're not just left in the dark with the title of a course.
Fabulous. I think we've addressed, let's see here. We did get a question about engineering technology majors, and are they as competitive as the College of Engineering programs?
Perfect. Yeah. So for those of you that aren't aware, we do have an engineering program at Purdue University, and we also have an engineering technology program. And so both are incredibly great programs at Purdue University. Both are super successful. Both have incredible starting salaries and job placement ratings. Both have great internship and research opportunities and co-op opportunities. One is not better than the other, but they're kind of different fields of what you want to do within being an engineer. Engineering technology is more the hands-on applied version. Engineering at Purdue University is more the theoretical. Now, that's not to say that the theoretical side doesn't have hands-on, because it absolutely does. And that's not to say that the engineering technology hands-on program doesn't have theory in it, because it absolutely does. So if it sounds a little confusing, I would ask you to reach out to the individual colleges and school at Purdue University. Our Polytechnic Institute houses engineering technology, and our College of Engineering houses engineering at Purdue University. Generally, engineering technology is a little bit less competitive, but for either of those majors, you're going to need to have pretty strong STEM grades because it's a STEM-based program. The big difference, I'll say really quickly before we run out of time, from my understanding of engineering technology and engineering, there's an entire lifespan of a product, right? There's all these things you can do with a product. Engineering technologists can do all of it except design the product. Engineers can do all of it and design the product. So if you want to emphasize design, then likely engineering is the best route for you. If you're more interested in every other lifespan of a product, engineering technology could be a route for you as well. So reach out to those individual colleges to learn more about it, or call the Office of Admissions and we can talk with you about it. Any last second questions, Andrea? I know we're close to running out of time.
We did get is nursing direct admit?
Nursing
Question.
is direct admit. Every single one of our programs at Purdue University are direct admission. So absolutely it is direct admit. Again, our email address is admissions@purdue.edu. You can call our Office of Admissions Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we probably have like 10 seconds left. Anything else, Andrea?
No, I think that was great.
Okay, all right, well, thank you so much for your time. Again, my name's AJ. You can always find my information on the website. Andrea's with me as well. You can find hers on the website. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. We want to help you get admitted to Purdue University. So call with your family, call with just yourself. We would love to help you out through this process. And thank you so much for your time. We are right at the 45.
Thank you for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for an additional session at INACAC.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at INACAC.org. Thank you.